Excellent white sea bass fishing today on board the Mirage in the Channel Islands in Southern California as they tally 36 white sea bass, 4 halibut, a lingcod, copious amounts of whitefish, and some rockfish to help round out an excellent day's fishing. Andrew Wynn was fishing with his friend Brian Brown, and Andrew got his very first white sea bass along with his very first halibut. He raved about the crew on the Mirage out of Channel Island sport fishing and said it was a day to remember. Nice sea bass fishing. Let's hope it continues.
Drying it up right now, Phil. It's just about done. We're hand scooping every one of these, man. They're handled with kids' gloves. No machinery, just spread. The pompano, Tommy cod. This is bass bait from heaven right here. Want to catch a bass? Get this bait.
Hey, good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California. Very little wind, overcast. You know, it's hard to believe it's August with this weather again. It seems like we're taking a step backwards in terms of sunshine and that kind of stuff, but we've got some great fishing info to cover with you. That Morro Bay albacore trip has been scrubbed. They're not going exploratory albacore. They're going to sit on it for a little bit. I'll have some info on that. We'll talk about what's going on down south of the border, down around Ensenada, and then of course the San Diego scene, the local bass scene. More white sea bass in the Channel Islands, as we suspected. Wouldn't surprise me one bit to see more of that, and some bluefin tuna up there out of Santa Barbara. There's a lot more to talk about. You know what time it is, my friends. It's time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. Oh man, is that good, guys. These guys are down here digging up sandworms and catching good amounts of mostly yellowfin croakers, what I've seen them catching so far today. There's more anglers up the beach here. Man, there's a lot of great surf fishing going on, and we love it absolutely, because for those of you who are on a budget and you want to take your kids fishing, the surf offers endless possibilities. There's a nice fish back there right now. It's a great way to get out with the kids and the family and enjoy the great outdoors. Surf fishing is truly a great sport, and you should take advantage of it. Here in Seal Beach, California, the surf fishing headquarters is, of course, Big Fish Bait and Tackle, right there on the corner of Seal Beach Boulevard and Pacific Coast Highway. You should drop in and say hi from Friedman Adventures really, really soon. Hey, I am so excited. Check out these anglers' pliers. Man, they are absolutely beautiful. They come from a friend of mine, David Rosenthal, who's put in a lot of R&D on those. I can't wait to use them. They're going to be perfect here for the surf. And David's info is right there. I hope you can see that. Let me get a little bit closer for you. Man, they look like they are awesome. I can't wait. I'm going to be on the horizon tonight. I'll bring them out there so the folks on board can use them and let me know what they think. But they look absolutely gorgeous. David, thanks for thinking of me, number one, and congratulations on all your hard work. It is paid off with a superior product. All right, once again, hit that like button if you could, please. Tick the bell. You'll be notified when there's new content. Of course, we love it when you subscribe, and if you share one of these videos, it helps us so very much. Also, we're on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Join us there on a regular basis. All right, that albacore trip, Tommy Holland has been telling me. Captain Tommy Holland talked to the owner of the Endeavor. Not the same Endeavor that runs out of Ventura Harbor sport fishing with Tucker McComb. It's a different Endeavor out of Morro Bay, and he's going to wait a little bit longer before he runs an albacore exploratory trip. Said there's been some albacore taken as close as 40 miles, but he wants to focus in on an area of really good looking water. And when we say that, we're talking about water that's conducive to albacore fishing, about 70 miles. So maybe another week or so. We'll keep our eyes on that for you. Very, very close. Of course, I'll be on board the horizon tonight with so many of you. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got all kinds of food courtesy of my friend Greg Bates. Greg's cooking up a masterpiece for you here tonight, a culinary masterpiece. So if you don't have time to grab a bite to eat, don't worry about it. We got you covered. We'll have a nice meal for you when you head out, courtesy of Friedman Adventures and Greg Bates. Deeply appreciate Greg going to all that trouble. It should be really, really good, and I'm looking forward to that trip. We'll talk about that trip in a moment. I know you have all received emails from Captain Bill Wilkerson Bill sent out an email about tackle, weather, and a lot more. So you should be up to snuff on everything that you need to know. All right, let's start you down in Ensenada and tell you that the mixed bag fishing down there is stupendous. Lots of barracuda, bonita, great calico bass fishing. Offshore is a little bit more dicey. We certainly are not seeing a big influx of yellowfin tuna. I don't know if the seiner pressure really put a damper on that or what. I still think it's coming. We're still under the influence of this strong El Nino, and that El Nino will persist well into summer and perhaps till the first of the year with warm water. And the warm water is what brings in tropical species like Dorado yellowfin tuna and other species. A lot of striped marlin around this year also, but great mixed bag fishing, barracuda, and so much more. Ensenada fisherman down there, Louis Prieto, has been hammering on the barracuda, and the local fishing having an absolute ball. So if you're in Ensenada, it's for real sport fishing. He's a great guy to fish with, I'll tell you that right now. Blackfin sport fishing, another great operation out of Ensenada, and there's a lot more. You can go down there, have a great time. The people, the food, the culture, and the fishing. Love going to Mexico lindo, no question about that. All right, let's get you to San Diego, where fishing is outstanding for some, and there's some misses for others. First of all, the boats that leave in the morning and come back in the evening that are fishing offshore are still having very slow fishing for the most part. 3 bluefin tuna yesterday on board the Mission Belle. So it's just been tough. San Diego and all those other guys that have been fishing that have really had some tough fishing. That's going to change. It's just, I don't know. It's just part of the game. Let's put it that way. Sometimes you get them. Sometimes conditions are not right. Sometimes fish are not in your zone. And so you have to change it up and move to other types of attacks. Let's put it that way. One of those is to go to the Coronado Islands with the Liberty. I think they had 6 bluefin at the Coronado Islands, along with good yellowtail fishing. There's good yellowtail fishing at the islands. I want to say anywhere from like 10 to 40 yellowtail if you're at the Coronado Islands right now. So those full day guys can do that. However, you need a passport to fish the islands. Some of these guys have booked up trips for the future, and it was an offshore trip. So some guys don't have passports, so they can't go there. But the Coronado Islands still very good. And there's barracuda there. There's really good bass fishing there. It's pretty darn good at the islands right now, and it has been for several years. It's just that the Coronado Islands get overlooked because everybody's offshore. They're targeting on that. Who can blame you? Because if you're on a day-and-a-half trip or better, it's been pretty darn good here recently. Tribute, Apollo, Cortez, Polaris Supreme, limits of bluefin tuna. Great fishing going on. A lot of that's on Tanner Bank, and man, it's just been spectacular. You can catch that, I want to say, even 8 to 25 pound bluefin tuna out there. Fly line bait, 25 to 30 pound fluorocarbon, works really, really well. It's a great way to get the job done. Choosing a good hot bait and changing that bait regularly makes all the difference in the world. Remember, sometimes you get a belly hook if you get a bite that way. Other times you nose hook, and you're going to nose hook when it's a long soak and you're getting bit on a slow wind back. And that's a very effective way to hook these bluefin tuna. You nose hook your bait because it looks natural coming back that way. If you belly hook and it comes back that way, no bluefin tuna in its right mind is going to nibble on that. So you just have to observe, see what's going on, see what's working best, and then hook your bait appropriately. That makes all the difference in the world. There's still some nighttime fish being caught. Again, 300 to 400 gram jigs, but the wind is going to be a factor now on Wednesday for sure. So we'll have to watch that very, very closely. It's starting to come up a little bit. It's even been windy in here for some of the local boats, and I'm talking the San Pedro, Long Beach area. So we'll keep our eyes on that, see where it takes us, and see what happens with regard to that. Now, as I look at the wind, and I go back to my commercial days, so I have to kind of think twice about this, because I look at the wind and I say, it's no big deal. It's typical weather, Tanner Bank. It's going to blow 15 to 20. What is the big deal? And then you think about some passengers who perhaps are not used to that kind of weather. So I've got to kind of think like in terms of how the public might think. It's going to be breezy, probably a little bit bumpy. It looks okay to me in the forecast. I think it's definitely fishable, but I defer to the guys running the boat as always. I don't make that decision on any of my charters. I defer to the guy in the wheelhouse who has all the intel, who knows what's best, who's got information on where fish might be biting down the coast, For example, on the horizon tonight, maybe Ricky Perez, who will be running the boat, good friend of mine, might decide to head on down the coast for 100 miles. Who knows? May go out to Tanner Bank, may do something else. I'll defer to them. But the wind, while bumpy, while breezy, looks like typical Tanner Bank weather. To me, I fished in much smaller boats in much rougher weather than this out there in that neck of the woods. Daiwa Pacific, limits of bluefin tuna and limits of rockfish. Oh my God, now you're talking my game. I love catching those rockfish on top of a really good day. Now, up in the LA Orange County area, we've had great fishing. The Amigo on that recent trip with 540 slingers, 2-day trip, walloped the bluefin tuna, catching limits of bluefin tuna. Thunderbird with 8 fish, over 100 pounds yesterday. Now, if the particular boat you're on wants to focus on some of that bigger fish, they're either going to kite fly or they're going to balloon fish or they're going to sinker fish. And that's where it seems like you get some of those bigger fish mixed in with the smaller grade stuff. So that is definitely an alternative available to you all to get some of that big fish. You look back at the Polaris Supreme and they focused on that big fish. I told you they had limits. Half of their fish were 50 to 90 pounds. The other half, 100 to 160 pounds. Wow. That's long-range style fishing here in our very own backyard. We are truly blessed. That is phenomenal fishing. So really good stuff going on. LA Orange County based guys are seeing them. While we're on the theme of bluefin tuna, I might as well mention the Channel Islands has bluefin in their sights. Santa Barbara boats are fishing bluefin here this morning because the Coral Sea yesterday limited out on rockfish, and then they looked around for some bluefin and caught a couple and saw a lot. So there's evidence that that stuff is up there, and that is looking really, really good. We'll keep our eyes on that very, very closely. Islands, we kind of covered Todos Santos and the Coronado, San Clemente Island. Guys that get in there are still catching some yellowtail, 8 to 20, 25 pounds. But you got to deal with those sea lions. They're voracious, a pain in the neck. Calico bass fishing there has been stupendous. At Catalina Island, the Pursuit, 22nd Street landing yesterday. 5 yellowtail and very steady bass fishing. And then rockfish and sheepshead and that kind of stuff. The Pursuit always gives you 100% effort. I will tell you that right now. John Woodrum and Gus and all those guys work their tails off. They are hard fishermen and they really put in the effort. So if you don't catch them for some reason, it's because they aren't biting. I'll tell you that right now. Pursuit 22nd Street landing, 310-832-8304. So we've got that. And then Channel Islands, whoa, the Mirage with a huge day yesterday. Andrew Wynn, who's a Friedman Adventures family member, had a great trip. Caught his first halibut, his first white sea bass. So happy to have seen that. Andrew, you're number one, man. I've not forgotten you for the lovely gift, that Yeti coffee mug with Friedman Adventures all over it. I'll be drinking out of it on board the Horizon here in a few more hours. So great job, Mirage, with a nice hit. Good to see that. Elsewhere up there in the Channel Islands, copious amounts of rockfish, but look for some more sea bass and halibut scores here today. I truly think that's going to manifest itself. We'll continue to watch that for you very, very closely along the coast. Great calico bass fishing down there out of San Diego. We continue to see some of the best half-day fishing we've seen in a long time. 3/4-day boats that fish the coastal regions. Most of them go to the islands, but if you hang out there, you're going to have great calico bass fishing. Tons of action, lots of keepers, lots of shorts, occasional yellowtail, occasional halibut. It has really been outstanding fishing. Oceanside and Dana Wharf, some really good bass fishing in and along the coast there. Also, we see that. And then Newport up to, say, Marina del Rey, up to, let's say, San Pedro. Really great fishing going on the local scene. We did get a little windy and there were some misses here yesterday, but overall it has been a phenomenal year. 2023 marks the return to sand bass, the migratory fish, back into the LA Orange County area, and it has been great to see. Enterprise, limits of sand bass yesterday. Fantastic fishing. Monte Carlo in the morning had very good bass fishing. The half-day boat out of 22nd Street landing. Gorgeous rig to fish on. Great crew. A lot of fun. In the afternoon, the wind got to them, and it was a little bit slower. So morning probably when you want to be out there. City of Long Beach dealt with the wind, and it was a problem, but not enough of a problem to stop them from limiting out on sand bass. Once again, it's a reverse dropper loop. Don't know how to tie that rig? Just talk to your crew member. Reverse dropper loop, I like 15-pound test. I even drop down to 12 when fishing bass. You get bites all day long. A good hot anchovy, and it's pretty instant in most cases. It has been good. Again, light line, calico bass, sand bass is going to get you way more bites, so you can keep that in mind and do really, really well. Marina del Rey, we see some bass up there, plenty of rockfish, redondo, much of the same in the local bite up there out of the Channel Islands. Still good. There's a mix of bass, barracuda, bonita, Island Spirit with our friend Cody Rogers doing quite well up there. Don't forget the Californian out of Ventura Harbor sport fishing. Kids fish free on Sundays with a paid adult, kids 12 and under, so you can take advantage of that and have some real fun. Ventura Harbor sport fishing, 805-676-3474. Just a great place for you to catch some fish, no doubt about that. And in the surface, you saw these guys still catching fish. Water's nice and warm, and we've seen some outstanding surf fishing here in Surfside, but also all the way down to the border. The other side of the border, there's some cooler water down around Punta Colonette, and that's 120 miles on the other side of the border. There's really some big barb perch being taken down there. San Diego area, there's been several halibut, as well as some good corvina fishing in this warm water. They're in the shallows. I'm talking like, you see that wave breaking right there? Right there is where you want to fish, where all that white water is right now. That wave comes in and it dislodges sand crabs and other things that corvina are looking to eat, and they're staging right behind that, and then they come in to eat. Or they're just up here in the shallows, just swimming along, kind of heading in a direction. You present your bait out in front of them, you got a very good chance of getting the job done. Don't forget Big Fish Bait and Tackle, Seal Beach, your surf fishing headquarters. All right, my friends, have a great one. By the way, I got a beautiful $200 Daiwa rod that I'll be raffling off on board the Horizon tonight, courtesy of Big Fish Bait and Tackle in the beautiful city of Seal Beach. Drop by and say hi to my friends over there, and I hope to see you all really, really soon. I jumped into that a little too early because I do want to remind you to hit that like button, share these videos if you could, tick the bell. You'll be notified when there's new content. And once again, share these videos. It makes all the difference in the world. I'll see you on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. TikTok, we are almost at 450,000 likes, so pretty strong there also. Take care. Have a great day. And as always, it's my pleasure to start my day off with each and every one of you. Hey everybody, this is such a joyful day because all of the items that we collected and sent to Cedros Island have been handed out, and I cannot thank each and every one of you enough. We literally handed out thousands of pieces of clothing and other essentials to some people who could really use your help. I've got to thank the Friedman Adventures family. That is you, each and every one of you who donated. You made this all possible. Diego Nuno, who is a deckhand on the Royal Star, and his lovely family worked so hard to make this all come together. Ramoncita Higuera from the Abalone Cooperativa, she did so much, including shipping the goods from Ensenada down to Cedros. Ramoncita, mil gracias. And also Phil Capricio, who loaded his yacht full of goods and then transported them over to us so we could truck it all down to this beautiful isla. And also Father, or I should say Padre Saul, down there in the Catholic Church, which was the distribution point for all of these goods. God bless each and every one of you who made this come true, reaching our hands across the border to our brothers and sisters in Mexico to lend a helping hand. I can't express my gratitude enough to you, all of you who helped make this a reality. Take care, my friends. So proud of you. So happy that we were able to accomplish this great deed together.